the hallmark of Netflix and of video game development, when it comes to adapting books or anything, they rarely get the lore right. They rarely actually do a faithful adaptation of anything. And we're seeing this with The Witcher. Of course, I did a video yesterday talking about just how off the rails Season 4 has gone with LGBTQ propaganda, with the weird race swapping. It's just a joke of its former self, and it doesn't even have the right tone anymore. It feels like a parody of The Witcher show rather than the actual Witcher show, even when the show got it wrong at the beginning of things. But gosh, CD Projekt Red is going to be releasing a new Witcher, and we know that they've killed the protagonist, that he's gone as of the last deal. Spoilers. And so they're talking about, in the video game, turning Ciri into a Witcher. Now, in the lore and in the books, we know that Ciri cannot be made into a Witcher, and so that is a problem. Now, Ciri can have her own adventures and do her own things, but it's not a Witcher. It is something else. And so this is just another instance of like the female replacement character coming in to replace somebody like Geralt, like they always do in every series. To me, it's a Ghost of Yotai situation with Ghost of Tsushima, where it's like, why didn't you just make a Ghost of Tsushima sequel? Well, they want to push this. They want to push everything into the strong female lead territory. It is an epidemic in our culture, and it needs to change today. So let's get into this. This is your real fantasy news nobody else will talk about. This is an interesting conversation with the author, Andrzej Sapkowski. Gosh, these names are rough, man. But I think I got it. And I appreciate you guys being here. We do not shill for the establishment, and we just call it like it is, and I appreciate everybody who watches. I'm a sci-fi writer myself. If you like my thoughts on writing, if you like my thoughts on just what's going on in the culture, you'll enjoy my Valiant Frontiers. This is a trilogy. It is about space exploration. I'm bringing back the sense of wonder to science fiction, making things right again. Sci-fi and fantasy have gone way off the rails, in my opinion. And I'm not a big grimdark fan or anything like that. I'm trying to do something different, be a little more optimistic. I think that's needed today. And so I'm crowdfunding this in the description below. Get this today, guys. You can grab the whole trilogy. It's a great deal. It's like getting it on Amazon. $5 an ebook is usually what I sell for, and so it's $15 for the whole trilogy. And it's great stuff. Now we are doing these premium hardcovers for the first time ever. These will not be available afterwards, and they're going to be gorgeous. So I do recommend getting on those. And then I have a leather-bound edition of my first 3 books that are combined into a trilogy too, called the Arishan War, which is also something you don't want to miss. These leather-bound, it's amazing the quality we've got. They are up there with Easton Press. If you're a leather book collector like I am, we're really doing it. So check this out. Support our channel. It's in the description below. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all of your support. So, Andrzej Sapkowski. Whew. I'll call him Andy. The author of the Witcher novels is not a fan of CJ Projekt Red's multiplying the Witcher schools in its video game series, adapting his novels, describing them as unworthy of development and narratively incorrect. Now, this is interesting because the school concept is very, very popular, both in Amazon books, and if you go into fantasy, Wizard Academy, that sort of thing is just very, very prominent across everything. On top of it, anime obviously does this. My Hero Academia being a great example of just taking something that is a popular sort of superhero genre and turning it into a superhero schooling system, right? Which superheroes are kind of magical abilities if you think about it. It's very similar, just a modern time versus a medieval setting. So this is what they're doing in the video game, is they're expanding it, and he does not very much appreciate it. So he did an AMA on Reddit where he's asked about these various Witcher schools that have been added into the series via the video game series. And he says the video game adaptation added a lot of extra Witcher schools compared to the books. School of the Viper, School of the Bear, School of the Manticore. What do you think about them? Do you plan to add new ones to the books? And he replied, the issue of Witcher schools requires, I apologize, a longer explanation. A single sentence about some school of the wolf mysteriously made its way into The Last Wish. I later deemed it unworthy of development and narratively incorrect, even detrimental to the plot. So he's like, oops, I made a mistake, and I just made one line about this. I didn't even want it in the books. My bad. Therefore, I never included or referenced any Witcher, Gryffindors, or Slytherins again. That's pretty funny. He goes into the Harry Potter, which actually started this trend. That is where it all went. I don't know why I went with My Hero Academia when Harry Potter's the obvious one to look at. But yes, it just was on my mind. Never. However, one sentence was enough. Adapters, particularly video game people, have clung to the idea with remarkable tenacity and have wonderfully multiplied these Witcher schools completely unnecessary, he added. So this is, again, just a violation of the lore and a change of things. And it's interesting. So, I mean, this is what I'd do, because I have adapted a book. I've adapted a book called The Ember War, which is an Amazon bestseller by a sci-fi guy, into a comic book before. And every step of the way, when I was doing my script for The Ember War, I would message the author and just ask what he thought about it and what he wanted with it. That's like the first thing. I did that during the entire process. Why do these people not do this? It comes down to video game and Hollywood writers want to leave their own marks on things. They want to make it theirs. They want to take a property, and a lot of the time, even with this, like with The Witcher in particular right now, they want to do their own show. They want to do their own fantasy thing, and they know they're never going to get it developed, right? So what do? They go, oh, I'm going to take The Witcher and I'm going to make it my own image rather than The Witcher's own image. And that's what they do. It's an Ubris type of thing. And they use this because they know they're not going to get $5 million an episode or whatever to make their rando fantasy show. And so since it has a brand attached to it, they can shoehorn their plots, shoehorn their ideas into things just to make it more of their own and feel like they've contributed a little bit more and that they've made their own thing, right? It's an imposter syndrome type of situation. Now, this happens in video game writing as well, and I believe that's what's going on here, and I think that's going to happen with The Witcher 4 as it comes out. It's really something that goes on across the board in adaptation media quite a bit. And again, the right way to do things is to be as faithful as possible. That's exactly why what I did with The Ember War was be as faithful as possible. It's not my book. I wasn't trying to do my own thing with it. I was trying to honor the source material as much as possible. That's what marks a good writer, in my opinion. Oh my gosh. But these people need egos, I guess, is what it comes down to. For what his plans to do with him moving forward, he said, I'm still uncertain about what to do with this situation. Perhaps taking the path of least resistance, I'll erase the sentence about the school from future editions of The Last Wish. So he might even remove it entirely. It's pretty smart. And you could do that. I love that these days with Amazon and the like. You can put out new editions of things, make changes to things, and update them and update the stories as you go along very easily. It's something you've never been able to do in human history. It's a wonderful thing as an author. Or maybe I'll want to expand and clarify the matter somehow in subsequent books. Perhaps I'll shed some light of the issue of the Wisher medallions, their significance, the connection to specific individuals. There are many possibilities. The sky is the limit, he concluded. For context, The Last Wish, Geralt informs Iola, they then taught me various things until the day I left Kaer Morhen and took the road. I'd earned my medallion, the sign of the Wolf Schools. I had 2 swords, silver and iron, and my conviction, enthusiasm, incentive, and faith. That's what happened in this book right here. Interesting stuff on this level. So what do you think about this? Have you read the Witcher's novels? Leave a comment down below with what you think. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out Valiant Frontiers if you want to check out some good new science fiction. This is a good spot for you. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll be back soon.